I'd like to talk about why meditate, and the importance of that. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're here for the first time, you're very, very welcome. Why meditate? I've been practicing meditation now for, I would say, the best part of about 5 years, at least. Actually, maybe a bit longer. At least about 5.5 years. And why did I get into that? I had a little bit of illness that came along, and when it came to recovery, I sort of did some research about best outcomes in recovery, and meditation was one of those things that I started practicing, and I haven't really looked back because I've felt the benefits of doing it, of meditating. And I was just last week, a few days ago, I was watching a podcast by, they invited a Buddhist monk on who was talking about meditation. And when he talked about the benefits of meditation, I thought there's so much of it resonated with me. And I thought, oh, okay, I there's more to it. There's more that I'm actually getting out of it that I'm even thinking about, or probably putting a definition on it, if you like. So when you meditate, the thing that they usually say to you is, empty your mind. Well, it's not really a matter of emptying your mind, and it's not really that easy to empty your mind. It might be easier for some, but it's not easy to empty your mind. And because what happens, as soon as you sort of saying to yourself, empty your mind, the more you start thinking about, you're thinking about emptying your mind, in fact, is what you're doing. And then it's not empty. You're thinking about, well, how do I empty my mind? And then they say, okay, well, concentrate on your breathing. Okay, so you can concentrate on your breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then your tummy is going up and down, or your chest is going up and down slightly, and you're just thinking about that, and your breath, inhale, exhale. Okay, fine. But then what happens? Your mind wanders. Or what do I need to do today? I've got to go shopping. I've got to pay that bill. I've got this to do. I've got a meal to make. I've got some laundry to do. So all these things could come up in your mind, and you think, I'm supposed to be meditating. Well, that's all a part of it, because what they said, what this Buddhist monk actually pointed out was, that's not a bad thing. That's where the person then decides, oh, I can't do this because I can't empty my mind. And, I'm thinking about my shopping list. I'm thinking about, what to pack for the kids, school lunch tomorrow. So, I'm thinking about, and what he was saying was, that's when most people then stop doing it. They give up. They say, oh, I can't do this because I can't empty my mind. There's all sorts of things coming in. And he was saying that's the strength part of it. That is the strength. And I've often thought that my mind's wandered. I've started thinking about something else that's, not about the meditation. And then from that thought, I come back to the meditation. I come back into the now. And that process is what we're supposed to be working at. And we can only work on those processes if we've got somewhere that we've gone to. So we've had a thought, and we've left our meditation, and we've left the now, we've gone to the future, that I've got this to do, that to do, or this is what happened yesterday, and she said this and he said this. And so rather than thinking about those things, and those things come into your head, you bring yourself back from that. And bringing yourself back to the now from those thoughts is the strengthening. That is the strengthening. That is what we are actually looking towards doing when we are meditating. And the more we do it, the better we get at it. So that is where people actually give in and say, oh, I can't do this. But that is actually what we need to be doing. If our mind doesn't go anywhere else and it stays in the meditation, then, okay, well, somehow we are naturally quite good at meditating. You might say that. Okay, good. But most of us, our thoughts go elsewhere, and we need to bring them back. And then that is the point, really, where I've sort of made videos about this before, that inner voice that is saying negative things to you, those critical things to you, that critical voice that we all seem to have, most of us seem to have, I'm not good enough, I didn't manage to get that deadline done last week, and I just, maybe I'm not cut out for this, maybe I'm just not the right person for this job, or I slipped up there, I completely, made a mess of this or mess of that, I'm just not good enough. So all those negative voice, that negative voice and all those negative ruminating thoughts is really the point when you are meditating, is you're going to get better at holding that thought and assessing that thought, thinking about, is that true? What evidence is there? And that is really the point, that you would do that and you bring yourself back to the now. So it's actually quite a good thing to do. I think it sort of makes us deal with those gremlins, those skeletons in the cupboard, is another saying there. Because those things do come out, and we do think about, negative things, albeit might be something in our past that comes back to us. And the other thing that was stated in this podcast, which I think is really quite valuable, and I'd like to share it, is that to not think so much about what it is that happened. Let's say if something negative did happen in the past, not so much think about that, but think about where it's left you, what you're feeling as a result of what's happened in the past. So don't worry about that too much. Don't go living that through again and again and again necessarily. Just think about where it's brought you to. What, are you feeling pain? Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling a sense of that, you want some kind of revenge, or that kind of feeling? Is it bringing that? And that's really what we're trying to deal with there then. If it's pain, you want to think about making peace with that pain, embracing that pain, acknowledging, embracing, and accepting the pain, first of all. And then the process of, once you get better at this meditation process, is to fill that pain with love, with positivity, as best you can. Okay, so those negative thoughts are filled with positive thoughts. So you've got some kind of, there's taking out the bad, but not leaving a void there. Taking out the bad, but filling it with positivity, with love, with positive emotions. If it's something that someone's done something or said something to you which has caused pain, is to have that forgiveness to them, towards them, so you're not holding anything negative inside yourself. Okay. And meditation is really the process of all that, doing that and practicing that. And as you practice, you get better at it. And it's definitely something I do every morning, most mornings, in order to check in with my own mental health, I do communicate with my son, my late son, who I sadly lost over 4 years ago. And that is the time where I make communication with him. So there's so many things that meditation can bring, to sort of center yourself with the now, because that's really all you have, isn't it? You don't have the past. The past is just really an illusion because of something, it's time gone. And the future, well, we can think about the future, and we do think about the future and plan for the future, but it's not guaranteed. The only thing that's guaranteed is the now, this moment, and each moment that you are living is the only thing that's guaranteed. So being present in the now through meditation is a good opportunity to deal with some of those negative thoughts and those negative feelings and the pain or guilt or anger, any of those emotions, it's a good time to sort of deal with those and see what things can I put in place of that, in place of that negativity or that pain or that hurt or that hatred feeling or any sort of negative feeling. What kind of positivity can I put there in place of it? And surely that positivity is better for me than negativity. So yeah, meditation is something that I will probably carry on doing for the rest of my days, I would say, because there is a lot of benefits. I would strongly suggest for you to try it, just a few minutes a day. It could be either when you're sitting down or standing. And other times to try a little bit of meditation is when you're standing in that queue, you know, at the shopping, at the, let's say at the supermarket or the, you know, grocery store, and there's a long queue, and you're thinking, oh, or there's somebody who, you know, can't get the correct change out. And when you're feeling that frustration, is to just calm down and be aware of those frustrated feelings and thoughts you're thinking. A lot of people feel it in the car, don't they? In the car, so many people have a change of personality. They can be lovely people, but then when they get behind a wheel, they can be cursing people and saying, "Oh, you know, she can't drive," and you know, what does she think she's driving? You know, is she driving a, you know, an aircraft or a car? You know, and those sort of comments come out, and you sort of think, oh, okay, you know, and these sort of things that you would never say to somebody if you sort of bumped into them, you know, accidentally somewhere. You'd say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," but in a car, as soon as you get behind a steering wheel, you start cursing and, you know, swearing or, you know, using foul language, you know, and you sort of think, oh my goodness, you know, think about your own stress levels that you are creating for yourself. Doing that, behaving that way isn't going to get you to your destination any quicker, okay? So what is the point of doing it? You know, just take a deep breath. You will get there when you can get there. You shouting and screaming at others isn't gonna, you know, it's just gonna be harmful to your own health. Yeah. So meditation, I wanted to share this video. I think, you know, you really should try it. There's lots and lots of apps, free apps that you can download on your phone about meditation, and you can sort of access, you know, videos where they sort of talk you through it. Some of them can be used at nighttime, you know, to help you go to sleep. You can, so you do some meditation that takes you into a nice, deep, restful sleep, and that's good for you. So, you know, do try them. Okay. If you found the content of this video helpful, please do like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, look after your hearts and souls. Thank you.